Hi everyone. So I decided to go live and to talk about investing in your business. And it came to mind for me because right now there is a big launch going on. It's called Business by Design by James Wedmore, and it's a program that I personally invested in, and I felt like it was very worthwhile, and so I recommend it to other people. But it is an investment, and I remember the uncertainty many times in my business when I was considering joining a program or buying a course or investing in coaching or investing in like done for you products. There are just so many offers out there, right? I think as online business owners, we get bombarded with offers from other business owners all the time. Especially if you're on a lot of email lists or if you're very active on social media, you're probably coming across like launches and promotions and flash sales, and maybe people are even DMing you to ask if you want to buy their thing, right? And I think it's like really easy to do impulse shopping, impulse purchases, right? Or to just on the other hand maybe never invest in anything because you just like you don't know what to buy. So I feel like I've learned a good amount about how to wisely invest in my business over the past few years. So that's what I wanted to share. Some questions that I ask myself before I invest in something. I think it may be helpful to like go through these questions the next time you're considering whether to invest in something. So the first thing is I ask myself what the program that I'm considering purchasing, is it a solution to a problem that I was already looking to solve? So, for example, like let's say somebody is launching a program on Facebook ads, like how to run Facebook ads, right? I'll ask myself, like, was that one of my objectives, like to learn how to run Facebook ads for my business? Like, is that something that I wanted to learn or figure out? Or maybe did I recently try to run Facebook ads and I didn't know what I was doing and I realized like I need to know more information? Like, is this a solution that I was already seeking? And I know that sounds like obvious, right? But I think it's important to ask yourself that question to prevent yourself from impulse buying, because a lot of people, like if they're good marketers and if they have good copy, they kind of like create this mindset like where you're like, oh yeah, I do need that, where like maybe you don't really, and they just kind of create the need through their copy. So I recommend just thinking like, is this something that I was already looking for, that was like kind of on my radar as something that I needed and wanted for my business already, and then the solution comes along and it's a good time for me to invest. So that's one question. Were you already looking for that kind of program or solution? The second thing I ask myself is, what do I know about the person who is selling this? And so, sometimes you come across an offer from somebody who you may have been following from for a long time, which is really ideal in my mind, because if you've been following that person, it shows that you kind of trust them or you respect what they have to say, and also you probably know a good deal about them. You know, like what they do, who they serve, how they can help you, what their own journey has been, what they have achieved. Like, do you want to walk in their shoes? Like, do you want to follow the same path that they've followed? Like, are they a role model for you in business? Like, are they a few steps ahead of where you are now? And are they going in the direction that you want to be going, right? So there are some people where when they launch something, I'm like, I know, like, I I admire this person. I trust that they know what they're talking about. I trust that they can help me. So, and this is, they're presenting a solution to a problem I have. So it's kind of a no-brainer. Other times you come across a launch or some kind of offer from somebody who like you don't really know anything about them. And in that case, I recommend just trying to do your research, right? So if they have a podcast or a blog or a YouTube channel, like listen to some episodes or read posts in their blog. Definitely read like their backstory on their about page. If you can get on a call with them, that would be ideal. You want to really, you really want to try to get a sense for, does this person know what they're talking about? Like, can I trust that they are truly an expert in the thing that they're teaching in their program? Have they accomplished certain things in their business that I want to accomplish in my business? So try to get a good sense for for that, who the person behind the program is. Then the next thing is I ask myself, like, what are the specific results that I want to get out of this program? So not necessarily like every single thing that the program teaches or promises, but like what's like at least one thing that I feel like I could accomplish by participating in this course or membership or coaching program or whatever it is. And is that measurable? Like, how will I be able to gauge whether this program worked? So if it produces something that is quantifiable, that's ideal, right? So let's say it's something like, going back to the Facebook ads example, will I be able to measure like how many leads I got from running the Facebook ads? Yes. And I can calculate an ROI. I can say like I spent this much money and I got this many leads. If it's for like a launch, you know how much money you made from those leads. If you're just doing like basic lead generation to build your email list, you may not be able to quantify that per se, but if you have been like using email marketing, you might have an idea of like what the value of like your email list is in general. So something like that with Facebook ads, like you can quantify like basically more or less like what the value of the program would be. Same thing with something like what I teach, selling courses, right? So I feel like if you take a program that teaches you how to sell a course, right? How to sell an online course, and you can compare like what's the price of your course to the price of the program. So if your course is $500, or you want to sell a course for $500 and the price of the program is $1,000, like you would only have to sell 2 of your course in order to recoup the investment in the program. So you can gauge like whether the program is worthwhile by thinking, what results is this going to produce for me, and how does that result compare to the investment in the program? Now I understand, of course, that like some courses and coaching programs and memberships, they're not like, the results are not as easily quantifiable, or they're not quantifiable at all. So in that case, I would just make like kind of like the old-fashioned pros and cons list, like, put on one side the all the investments in the course. So it's the money that you would be investing in the course, but it's also like the time that it's going to take, or like maybe the difficulty, or I'm not sure, like, like any like misgivings you have maybe about like taking the course. And then on the other side, like, what are the benefits? So even if you can't quantify them, you can still list them out. Like, I expect this to make me more confident. I expect this to help me get something done faster. I expect this to, improve my relationship with my children, so just seeing it on paper and seeing like, what you're putting into it versus what you're getting out of it will help you, I think, make a more informed decision. And then the last thing, which is, I think, like has become my number one question that I ask myself, or very important question that I ask myself, is Do I have the time and the motivation to implement what this course will teach me, like now, today? Because what I used to do that I regret is I would like buy a course of like something that I wanted to do eventually. And I knew like I already had a full plate, and I'm like, or like sometimes I wasn't even like ready to do what the course teaches. So, for example, like I bought a course on Facebook groups, and at that time, I was not ready to start running a Facebook group for my business. And I'm still not ready to start running a Facebook group because I have a lot of other things that I'm focusing on and using for my marketing. And I just thought, well, like, one day I'd like to have a Facebook group. It seems like a good idea. So I'll buy this course so that when I'm ready, I will watch this course on Facebook groups. And I feel like it's just like, what happens with those courses. They just sit there, and sometimes you even forget you bought them. And so I feel like that is truly the biggest waste of money. Like, if you buy a course and you take it and you don't get that much out of it, yeah, that's a waste. But the bigger waste of money is when you buy a course and you don't even start it, or you like barely scratch the surface. So, and that's on you. So I feel like, ask yourself, like, is this something that I am ready for now, that I have the capacity for now, both in terms of time and like energy and motivation? And is it something that like I'm willing to commit to implementing right now? Because it could be the best course in the world, but if you don't take the action to implement what it teaches you, of course, you're not going to get the results. So, and like, the course will be there. Like, if it's an evergreen course, it's always going to be there. If it's a course that's being launched, I know that like, the person who's selling it will put some kind of urgency saying like the doors are closing, or the bonus is going away, or the discount is expiring, and that like makes you feel like, oh, I need to get it even though I'm not ready for it. I need to get it because they're instilling that sense of urgency in you. But right? There's going to be another launch. It may not be that soon. You might have to wait, but that's okay. If you're not ready to implement what it teaches you and you have to wait like 6 months or even a year for the launch to come around, that's okay, because then a year from now you might have more of a capacity to implement what it teaches you. Or a year from now, you may realize like, oh, I actually don't need that thing. I already learned it. I already accomplished it, or I'm focusing on something else on my business. So I feel like that timing aspect, like, is this the right time for me to do this, is super important. So that's what I have to say about investing in your business. Some questions to think over before you enroll in a course or membership or coaching program. And I hope that helps you make better decisions about how to wisely spend your money and get a good return on investment for your business.